a couple of feeds because we're having a problem with the feed. There we go. All right.
All right.
This one too. We'll remove that one. Yep. There we go. All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. It is 5:30 California time, 8:30 Tennessee time.
Eastern
And
time.
we're going to start our broadcast off with saying the Pledge of Allegiance because we give thanks to God and we pledge allegiance to our flag, the United States of America. Ready?
Ready.
I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all, baby.
Dolly Parton's husband passed away this week, so
yeah, we're gonna give her a little tribute because we like Dolly Parton.
That's Dolly Parton singing there, and she kicks in. She's singing with Elton John, one of Elton John's old songs. So don't let the sun go down on me.
I can't find
Elton John. Yeah.
Besides the piano.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
we are very thankful to God for our country, for Americans, for Tennessee, and for Dolly Parton and her husband. I'm pretty sure her husband is in heaven right now, dancing with Jesus.
I believe you're right.
Not sure about Elton John, which I think is kind of sad. I really wish Elton John was a believer in Jesus Christ, but he is.
And then we'll go on to welcome everybody to our show.
Yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta turn on my Facebook. And, see what's live, what's going on live.
Team Trick for Rick and Jeff.
Unfiltered, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try to keep it clean. We've been working on our vocabulary, so we want to try to keep it clean. But we are unfiltered, and we might slip every now and then. Johnny Cash might show up. Johnny Cash might show up. So he has a tendency to join us every now and then. So then there's the double Johnny Cash has showed up also, so a couple times. So, but yeah.
Yeah, would you all like to do a number with me? Let's see. So they sent a comment.
Got my big dog.
Hello there.
Somebody on your feed over there?
No, I'm just trying to.
Yes,
there we go.
It's live now.
Hello there, ladies and gents. There we go.
You put stte of the Union.
STT of the Union, what?
That's what your feed says. Rick Bennett is now live. STTE of the Union.
All right. Well, I'm in the Union. I'm in the Union anyway. So there you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, why is this messing up? All right. So, we might as well start with the Rick and Jeff Unfiltered. Welcome.
Yeah, that's me.
Jeff. Doesn't say where you're from, does it?
Nope. Well, you're Rick Bennett, and I'm Rick and Jeff Unfiltered, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, so our president gave a speech last night, and Jeff and I have some differing opinions on it. I looked at it like it's just the same old. That the president comes up and pats himself on the back and exaggerates everything he's done, and that kind of stuff. And we're going to do this, and blah blah blah. And the Republicans stand and clap, and the Democrats sit and put their hands under their ass, and just the opposite way when Biden was doing it. And I find this. I told my brother this many times that I don't like. You got, there's certain things you I don't care whether you're the Republican or came up with the idea or Democrat came up with it. It's a good freaking idea. You got to clap. And these people, just because they said it, I'm not going to clap. And I just found it same old pretty much.
And just so you know, the Republicans have always, whether it's under Barack Hussein Obama or Joe Biden, have always stood when the president enters into the house, into the floor of the house.
This is true.
Clap.
This is
Democrats did not do that. They turned their back on President Trump last night. So these guys are a bunch of fools in my mind, and I'm not supposed to call people fools, but
no, we can call
the fool.
We can call our Congress people, our president, or anybody who works for our government. We can call them fools if we think they're fools. We're not going to call someone types in something on the show. I'm not going to say you're an idiot or anything like that. You know, that kind of thing. Or someone's on the show, we're not going to call them any names, and they won't call anybody names, or they won't be on the show. But yeah, we'll call our people in our government fools and stupid and assholes and dumb fucks. I said the F word. There you go.
Cleaning up our act.
Anytime we want. So there.
There you go. Yeah. And my brother and I do agree on some of the stuff that's going on in their government. My brother's basically a conservative liberal Democrat, if you can figure that one out. And I'm basically a conservative. My brother would say I'm a right-wing radical conservative, but I don't think I am. I believe in the Constitution of the United States, and I believe that it should be, enforced. So, but again,
well, I think I agree. I agree with that too. So Trump's in power now. The Democrats are saying he's breaking the Constitution. When Biden was in power, we were saying he was breaking the Constitution.
Right.
I put something on Facebook the other day. It seems funny that and I don't like presidential, what do they call them, things that he signed, all those things that he signed, the 100 that he signed, presidential.
Oh, the executive orders.
Executive orders. I don't like executive orders. I don't care who does them. But what I find funny about the executive orders in the last 3 presidencies, now that Trump's in there for the second time, we're going to give him 2, and Biden, is that all these executive orders, so many of them get thrown out
when the next president comes in there.
Well, no, not that. They get what's the word I'm looking for when you go against them legally?
They get challenged. James Nickerson is watching. Hello,
Uncle Jimmy. Yeah, they get so they file a legal brief, whatever you want to call it, against it. I find this funny is because here it's one of 2 things. So the president makes we are yahoos for sure, Yahoo.
Yes,
but anyways, so it's
Mountain Dew.
So the president makes what do we call them again? I can't even remember what we call them.
Executive order.
Executive orders. So the president makes executive order, and so when Trump does it, the Democrats fight it legally. They say it's not legal, and they fight it.
Right.
And when Biden was in, the Republicans said it's not legal. We're going to fight it. So there's one of 2 things happening when this is going on, and this is happening a lot. It's not just 1 or 2. It's happening to a lot of them. So one of 2 things is happening. Either the president is putting stuff out there that he knows is illegal, because they got to know it's illegal, and they put it out there anyways. Okay, and this goes for both sides. So it's either that, or the opposition is fighting it just because they don't like it, not because it's not legal. Right. And it's happening so much that our government is broken. It is broken. Right. I can't get along with them. You can't stand up when the president comes in the room. You can't stand up when the Secret Service guy gives this kid with brain cancer a thing to say he's a member of the Secret Service. Are you freaking kidding me? And I'm not. The Republicans did the same shit when, other than standing for when the president came in, did the same shit when Obama was president and Biden was president. They would just sit there. They wouldn't clap for anything. It's ridiculous.
I think they did clap for some things. They didn't clap for a lot of things. You're absolutely right, but they did. I mean, I think if they had something like
you're right. They probably did.
DJ, I think it was. They would have clapped for that.
You're probably right. If Biden had brought in somebody and did something like that with him, they would clap.
Beth.
Hey, hello, Beth. Hello, Beth. Division is thick. Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'm trying not to go where I want to go with that, but yes, division is thick. Yes. Yeah. So, the thing is, when the Democrats are in power, that doesn't seem like they're following the Constitution of the United States. And when the Republicans are in power, they're like, oh, they're not. They're violating the Constitution of the United States. It's like, so when Biden did it, it was okay. When President Biden did it, it was okay. But when President Trump does it, it's a violation of the Constitution of the United States. So, I mean, if you really want to get nitpicky about it, how about if we talk about who was actually running our country for the last 4 years? Because it wasn't President Joe Biden. I can tell you that for a fact.
No, I don't think he was
cognizant ability, right?
No.
So talk about undermining the Constitution of the United States. Democrats all over this country did that to say that Joe Biden was the smartest man in the room, most alert man in the room. He runs circles around everybody, blah, 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 right? That's a huge violation of the Constitution of the United States, right? We have Article 25, right, which talks about how to, basically get a president out of power if he doesn't have the physical or mental capacity to do it. But they brought that out when Trump was in his first term. Nancy Pelosi was, we need to start looking at Article 25. And people are like, what, who are they doing it on? And they're thinking, are they going to do that on somebody else? They getting ready to do that for if Joe Biden gets elected or what?
Well, you and I were talking about, we were thinking they were going to do it for Joe Biden. That they weren't even, people were screaming they're going to try to do it to Trump. And you and I were both saying, nah, they're probably doing it because Biden's coming in. And we knew then that Biden was on his way out.
Yeah, and it's sad, but they just didn't care, and that to me is a huge violation of the Constitution of the United States, and they did it blatantly and in your face. They didn't care, right? So like Trump, but
I gotta say, I'm not sure it is a violation of the Constitution of the United States. It's up to our Congress to if they think the president is incapable of doing their job to. Is it up to the Congress to do that, or is it
the vice president? But if they knew that was the thing going in, they should have campaigned on that and said, "Look, this guy's not physically and mentally able to."
But there's nothing. He's not breaking the Constitution there. That's my point. There's nothing they're doing there that's breaking the Constitution. I mean, it's unethical.
Okay, so if we go back to Article 2 of the Constitution, Article 2 says that the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during a term of 4 years, and together with the vice president chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. So the executive power rests on one man or one woman, whoever happens to be the president of the United States. If the president of the United States, who was Joe Biden, is incapable of doing his job, then that's a violation of the Constitution.
No, because that one man can delegate. I mean, you look at Trump doing; he delegating all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Okay.
But they're saying that he's violating the Constitution because Elon Musk is doing stuff. Elon Musk can't do squat. He can't fire a single person. Right.
I'm just saying that they can delegate for Joe Biden. You're right.
Right, but if Joe Biden doesn't even know what's going on, how are you going to delegate? He didn't even have the cognizant wherewithal to say what's going on, and this guy's now the person. Well, who delegated him? Because the president.
I don't think it's a constitutional issue. That's my
right,
if let's just say, because in order for it to be a constitutional issue, they have to find him unable to do his job, and we agree that we both think he was unable to do his job. But you have to to become constitutional. It has to become. I don't even know how it would become constitutional, but just by the fact that he's listening to other people and letting them do things doesn't make it unconstitutional. That's my point. But I think there's other things that Biden did, like student debt thing. The Supreme Court said, "No, this isn't constitutional, but it's illegal." The Supreme Court said you can't do it, and he did it anyways.
Twice.
So that was illegal, and I have a family member who benefited from that. And I told this person, I said, "Look, I don't agree with it, but they're going to give you the money. Take it."
Right.
They should give they give money. They give $6 million away to study transgender mice out in some FU country somewhere that not even in the United States. Transgender mice? Are you effing kidding me? This is ridiculous. You shouldn't spend a penny on that, let alone millions of dollars. And me and my son were having a conversation this morning, and so we're talking, or just a little bit ago, we're talking and we're saying, look, so we want to know why they're spending this money. Okay, so I try to find out what is the reason why they're spending this money. So something like this, the transgender mice thing, the only thing I can come up with is this, and I can't come up with a single other scenario than this. Let's just say I'm in Congress, okay? I've got my brother Jeff comes up to me and says, "Hey, I got this idea. I'll go over to this other country and I'll start doing some transgender mice stuff." Stuff, I called it. You see that? Stuff.
Yes.
And and what we'll do is you'll send me $6 million. I'll spend $3 million on actually doing the study. I'll keep $2 million and I'll give you $1 million.
Wow, imagine that.
That's the only thing I can come up with that makes sense of why they would do something stupid like that.
Well, that's what Doge was finding out in the USAID when what's her name? Got her face right in front of my mind.
Pam Bondi?
No, the woman who ran for governor in Georgia and then said that she was cheated out of it. Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams starts a nonprofit organization that up until last year had $100 donated to it. And last year, before President Biden left office, they donated $2 billion to it with a caveat.
Billion with a B, by the way.
With the caveat that they have to do a study on how to do a budget.
I'm done. I'm done. I got $2 billion. I give you my results of study right now. I spent 30 seconds on it, so that's going to be worth $2 billion.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. You don't spend more than you bring in.
And I brought in $2 billion, so I'm good to go. I got another.
I can spend $2 billion.
Of life. I can go with $2 billion. You know.
Exactly. My son, we're talking, and we agreed that we think they should follow the money and find out who's getting the money from this stuff, and then go after.
They know in that instance, Stacey Abrams' nonprofit.
Well, we do know that, but I want to see. There's a lot of. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff Trump brought up last night, and Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan last week, and he said he's afraid. He's afraid to tell some of the stuff that he's found because he's afraid they're going to kill him. Yes, exactly.
Yep. So speaking of Elon Musk, and I didn't ask you this before, but this is a great time to bring it up. What was Elon Musk going to do over the weekend? There's a place he was going to go. They were talking about it all over the news. Oh, I'm going to go here and verify that there's actually stuff there. You remember where it was?
Fort Knox. Yeah.
What happened to that?
I don't know.
It suddenly disappeared off the radar.
Maybe that's one of those things he's afraid he might get killed for. Did I say that out loud?
I don't know. But think about it. Let's suppose, and I have no clue, but I have heard in the past, I don't know where I heard it, and this could be totally rumor, and I could be making this stuff up right now, so don't quote me.
I'm quoting you.
Gospel.
I'm going to call you out on it later.
I have heard that there's been no gold in the Fort Knox vault for years, for even decades, right?
Yes.
So
you have said that.
When he said that he's going to go to Fort Knox, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be fun, right? Because you're going to know, right? And suppose that he went in, cameras blaring and everything. There's nothing there. What you think they're going to show that to the American public right away? Talk about chaos. There's no gold to back up our dollar bills.
We don't back it up anyway, so it doesn't matter, really.
Right, but we have to have something in there besides debt to China that says that we're worth the amount of money that we're printing.
We gave the gold to China. But actually, I think the way this presidency is going and the way they're doing this, I think they would say there's no gold. Look, we just got here. Look, you can blame everybody before us, but you can't blame us. There is freaking no gold in Fort Knox.
Yeah. But see, it's kind of like the JFK files, right? The Zapruder film and all that stuff, right? In President Trump's first term, he said he's going to release the files to the public, right?
Right.
Well, the CIA chief, what was his name? Got his picture right in my front of my.
It doesn't matter. The CIA chief.
Yeah, the CIA chief said, look, you probably shouldn't release that, because that's going to be detrimental to the country. So Donald Trump, in the last moment, said, "All right, we're not going to release it all. We're going to release some redacted files, but not all the files."
Right.
It's kind of like when Pam Bondi said, "I'm going to release the Epstein files tomorrow," and then when she comes time to release them, she gets a whistleblower that says, "Oh, by the way, the FBI agent in the FBI office in New York has thousands of pages of Epstein files that they're hiding from you."
Right.
So then she has to change the release of the Epstein files to phase one. I was like, phase one? What's that all about? Well, then you find out, oh, the FBI, not under Kash Patel, but under the previous administration, is hiding all these files and preventing them from being given to Pam Bondi, who is their boss, right?
Right.
The only person that's above Pam Bondi is President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So she's saying, "Give me the files," and they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to give them to you." They're fired. Like
they should be.
Kash Patel went to New York and he fired the head of the agency. Said, "Look, this is not right. You can't."
Oh, good. So he did fire. Okay.
Yeah. So this is why I think some of this stuff is going to come out. But I think along the same lines, imagine you're at day 39 of your presidency, and Elon Musk calls you up and says, "Hey, Mr. President, there's no gold in Fort Knox. What do you want to do?" He's like, "Excuse me? Nothing? Nope, nothing here, sir." Holy crap! We have to prep the American people for that. How can we prep the American people for that? Well, we got to start making more money so that we can say we now have $5 trillion coming into the United States to help us grow our economy and make it the golden age again, and then maybe we can start filling the Fort Knox back with gold. Again, this is just a theory, an idea, a fart in the wind for all I know. But it's like something had to happen because this was front page news. Elon Musk and President Trump are going to go to Fort Knox and see what's there. And then it went to, well, Elon Musk is going to go to Fort Knox to, where the hell is Fort Knox and Elon Musk? What happened? It just disappeared off the whole radar of people, the news,
Yeah.
So I just find it mysterious myself. And
so
go ahead.
Speaking of Elon Musk, I heard a rumor, and I hope this is not true, because if it is, it's not a good look. That the FAA had a $2.4 billion contract with Verizon, and they're going to cancel it and give it to Starlink.
I hadn't heard anything about that. I'm not arguing for it or against it.
I don't.
It's the first I heard of it.
Says
and you know me, I hear a bunch of shit. So it's like, I'm surprised I haven't heard that
yet. FAA targeting Verizon contract in favor of Musk Starlink, sources say. Yeah. Are they anonymous? That's what I want to know, first of all. Yeah, so I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I don't like the optics of it. If it does, it goes down the road of what's he getting for doing what he's doing? And that if that's the case, that's bullshit. That's just my opinion.
I'm not arguing for that against that, but I have a question based on that. If that's the case, then should Elon Musk be the space taxi, so to speak, to bring Americans to Mars?
Why wouldn't he be?
Well, it might be, show some favoritism because Elon Musk is doing it.
Who else is going to do it?
There's nobody else to do it. I'm just saying.
Well, and this is my point. I was talking to this person, and, they're saying that, Elon Musk is blah, blah, blah. He's getting this, whatever. So, well, most of these contracts Elon has gotten were before Trump got in there. Right, so it has nothing to do with, these have nothing to do with Trump. Now, this one would look very bad. $2.4 billion. It would look very bad if this is what's going on. And what was the reasoning you canceled it and why? And I'd like to know that, to tell you the truth. I'd like someone, if it actually does happen, I'd like to understand why it happened. Because I don't think you just give this guy money because.
So let me tell you a story, which may or may not have to do with that. So I went to a customer's house the other day. He's has a house near the beach in Corona Del Mar. So it's kind of a nice ritzy area. You can see the ocean from his house, and they have it on tiers. So like his street is above the street below him, which is above the street below him. So So whatever house you're in, you can look out over the ocean. You see Catalina, you see the ocean, see the boats sailing by. And you can also see. Apparently, there's another thing that's happening. This is going to be totally sidetracked, but the ships are stacking up from the Long Beach port. They're not
again.
Yeah, don't know why. Nobody knows why. So
okay.
So anyway, I go to this guy's house and he's having problems with his computer, working on his computer, and I'm like, well, you should download this application on your computer and that'll help, right? Because he had an old poker app, but it didn't work on his computer anymore. But I went to the app store and they have a new version of that, which is version 3. I said, well, let's just download that. So I clicked the download. He logs into his Apple ID, and it starts taking forever. I'm like, man, your internet sucks. Like, what do you got? So he's like, oh, I got Verizon. Oh, and by the way, when I got to his house, I was calling you on the phone. I was talking to you, and I hung up. And they're like, yeah, the cell phone coverage down here sucks. Cell phone coverage sucks. What do you mean? Yeah, so I have Verizon, doesn't work. I'm like, well, I got like 4 bars. I was just talking to my brother. But as I walked into his house, my bars went to 1, and then SOS. So there's something in that area that.
Mine went to SOS today when I was talking to Dulcie too.
Right. So there's something in that area that is cell coverage is bad, right? But
yeah.
So the homeowner had this Verizon box. So you can buy internet from Verizon, right? And what they do is they put a 5G box in your house. It connects to the cellular tower, and it gives you cellular speed on your home internet, right?
Right.
Well, the cellular wasn't working, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, like my friend that was with me, he did a speed test. It was getting like 7 down and half up, 7 megabits per second download and half a megabit per second up. Slow as all get out, right?
Right.
It's going to take them days to download this piece of software.
Right? Well, yeah.
But it's all Verizon, right? So Verizon says, oh, we're going to send out a booster. We'll get you a booster to work with it, right? So they bring out a booster. The booster can't connect to the satellite. So, and it's right next to the window, has an antenna. It can't make the connection to the satellite, which the main Verizon thing is also a connection to the satellite, which has a connection, but it's a very weak connection. All this to say, if Verizon's having troubles connecting to satellites, I would not be surprised because Elon Musk's Starlink works. He has more satellites than any other company in the world up in the sky for Starlink. That's why all of America now has the ability to do Starlink.
The thing about that is if that's the case, then why didn't you do it before the fact? Why did you wait till now and do it? I want to know why.
Yeah,
that's it.
No,
but I will say this about the Verizon thing. Nicole had the same problem in Florida. Verizon came out with this new, you know what? You get our internet, will cost you this much, unlimited, blah, blah, blah. So many people got it that their towers couldn't handle it. It's not the satellite. It's because Verizon doesn't go with satellites.
Right.
They go with the towers, the cell phone tower.
Right. So there's no cell towers in Corona Del Mar area, right? Because these are all rich people that don't want to have a cell tower on their hill to say that, but then they're going to bitch and complain because there's no cell coverage down.
We'll put a great big fan in the ocean, but we don't want a cell tower on the hill.
So. Oh man, don't even get me started on that. That's just...
Okay. Anyways.
so along those lines for a moment, I heard this the other day. All right. So you're going to build a tower in the ocean that sticks above the water that has a fan that's going whoop, 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 and it's not going to affect any of the sea life at all. Oh, and by the way, you have to put transfer wires on the sea floor to transfer that power back to the mainland. Right. So no matter how many miles you are off the shore, it's got to run cable from the floor of the ocean across the floor back to the shoreline to get the power off the.
Right.
It's like.
Well, since they put them in on the East Coast, there's been like 10 whales die.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with the solar wind power.
I beg to differ because if you go back in history, that's never happened until they put these things in. I almost went off the rails again there, brother.
I'm just saying that it has nothing to do with those at all. It's a fluke. There's something new going on. It has nothing to do with the power towers of the wind towers. So.
Well, remember one time they tried to blame the Maine lobstermen on for something.
Yeah, they still are too.
Are they really?
Oh yeah, because like there's a guy I follow who's he lives in somewhere off the coast of Maine. He's a Maine lobster.
Uncle Jimmy will know something about this. I'll bet you. Yeah. Uncle Jimmy, tell us something. Go ahead, brother.
He's probably not watching anymore, but because he was on my feed, then he went to the main feed. I don't see him anymore.
He was
but
on
if he's
mine.
there, he wants to speak. Speak up, Uncle Jimmy. can do it. So anyway, this guy, I can't remember what his name is. He's a lobsterman in Maine, and he talks about how you have this stick to measure it, so they have to be, bigger than this, smaller than this. If they have eggs, you have to throw them back in. You have to make sure they have a notch on their tail, so that if another fisherman catches them and they're not laying eggs at that point in time, they won't.
Yeah,
eat
once
them
you find them with
because
eggs,
it's
you
an egg
notch them
layer.
so everyone knows it. Yeah.
So everyone knows it's an egg layer. So he has all these rules he talks about all the time, and it all has to do with they're trying to blame the Maine lobstermen for all this fishing shit that's going on off the coast, and it's like these guys are probably some of the most prolific people that want to make sure that their industry continues on.
Right.
They don't want to like harvest all the lobsters, and next year you can't get shit because there's no lobsters left.
Right.
No, they're making sure that the big males are in the ocean. They're able to breed and continue breeding. Any female that's an egg layer stays in the ocean because she has a notched tail. They're very careful about managing their crop, which is basically Maine lobsters, right? So
Right.
the fact that the government comes in and who just took over this? This was what agency is that? Do you remember? Fish and Wildlife, is that what it is?
I don't think that was it, but I know who you're talking about. They came in and they were saying something about they have to put something on their boats or something like that.
No, but I
Is
mean,
that-
who's now in charge of it now under Trump and the new Trump term?
I don't know.
Because all the people that he's picking to do their jobs are very smart at doing their jobs, right?
Mhm.
Cash Patel, Pam Bondi.
Well, oh, what's the guy's name from Fox there? He's the new military
Stan
guy.
Bongino.
No, the military guy.
Pete Hegseth. Pete
Hegseth, he's just
the Secretary of Defense. Yeah.
He's just a Fox anchor. That's all he is. I've heard you can't even understand how many times I've heard somebody say the head of our military was a Fox anchor. Yeah, that's not the whole truth though. He was a Fox anchor. I cannot deny that. He also was a officer in the Army
vet.
And he spent time in action.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways.
What did he graduate from? West Point, didn't he graduate?
West
from
Point.
West Point?
The same place they're giving
went
that
to
kid.
Harvard, went to Yale or whatever. It's like, oh my gosh.
Do you know how close I was to going to West Point, Jeff?
How close?
This close.
So why didn't you go?
Do you remember? Do you remember that guy? Had that cottage next to ours on the river.
Yeah,
we used to get bait for him. I can't think of his name.
Anyways, he was a congressman. I don't know if he's in the Senate or the House, but I remember
he wasn't anymore. He was retired, and he was in the Coast Guard at one time. Okay.
Okay.
So he told me, he said, "Look, I can get you into West Point as a Coast Guard person, but you have to get your grades to be a certain grade." And at that time, my grades weren't, and it wasn't very high. It only had to be over 80, I think, and I don't think I had made it at that point.
That's
so
3.0 or higher. So probably.
Yeah. So in my end of my junior year and the start of my senior year, I busted ass because he was going to sponsor me.
Right.
Okay. Or he was going to get someone to sponsor me. One of the two. So I got my grades up where they needed to be, and he passed away.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Otherwise I would have gone in the Coast Guard, and I'd have been an officer in the Coast Guard.
That would have been cool.
But yeah, that would have been cool. But yeah. So anyways, I was that close. So
I told you who I had for a customer the other day, right?
The New York Giants offensive lineman there,
Richard Humphreys, right?
Yeah.
So I was telling him the story about mom told us about Giants.
About Giants Stadium.
Yeah, he didn't poo-poo it, but he seemed really interested. So I'm like, maybe it was true. I don't know. He didn't like, yeah, that never happened. He's like, I never heard that before. He's like, oh, that's interesting. So anyway, but yeah, that was kind of fun to see
But for anybody who's wondering, my mom and my stepfather Dan owned 10 acres on the Susquehanna River.
Well, they definitely owned the land. It was 12 and a half acres of land, riverfront property. Yeah.
So they said that one day we came home from school and they said that you'll never guess who was here today. And we're like, who? And this is back before,
like in the 70s.
Yeah, not this stadium, but the Giant Stadium before it was built.
Right.
They were playing. I don't. Were they playing in Shea Stadium? I don't remember where they were playing, but they were going to build a new stadium. And they said these guys came and they were looking at our property and they said, we're thinking this would be a good place to put the stadium because it's not too far for New Yorkers to come up and do it, and that kind of thing. And they were going to give them $50,000 a year contract, and we could all go to the games for free and whatever, blah 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 blah.
Jobs working at the stadium,
and then they built the stadium in New Jersey. So anyway,
yeah. Well, this was way before the stadium in New Jersey because
that was the stadium they built. The one in New Jersey was the new Giant Stadium. Was the one they built right when they were talking to us about building. Let me look that up.
The one they just recently built, because it wasn't that.
No. No, they built that one right next to the old one, and then they tore the old one down.
Okay, I didn't realize it. I thought it was in. I thought the old one was in New York City, and the new one is in like Trenton, New Jersey, or something like that, across the river. Anyway, no big deal. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it does.
Anywho, yeah, so it does. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna do whatever I want. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see what's going on in our country right now because it seems like. Go ahead.
Giant Stadium was built October 10th, 1976. So this was probably. So I graduated in 79. So I'm going to bet you I was in 8th grade. This was probably in 73 that they were talking to us about this. Because I don't know how long it actually took, but it takes a year or two to build the stadium. But this is before they built that stadium, and that's what they were talking about. Anyways, I digressed. So
yeah, I mean, it was fun, and it's fun to think back on it. I mean, but my experience at the cottage is probably different than my brother's because I loved it. I was like a kid in heaven. I loved driving the tractor. I loved driving into the river and living. I loved all that stuff about the place. Just saying, I had so much fun at the cottage. I was very, very sad and very disappointed when Mom sold it back to the state because the river knocked it off the foundation. So I actually talked to Kathy and about moving out there when Jeffrey was like, I think it was like 4 and Jessica was like 1, or just Jeffrey might have been 5 and Jessica was 1, because I thought. I would love to live out here, and I would love for our kids to go to Windsor High School. But I didn't realize at the time. But Kathy's perspective of living in New York City and living at the cottage was Binghamton. Like she thought our kids would go to Binghamton. Like no, it's a total different school district. So once I figured it out, it's kind of too late. But I was like, no, they would never go to Binghamton. They would go to Windsor. That's the Windsor School District.
Right.
So it would be a total different place. It's like farm country. I loved it. I really did. I can't say enough about how much I loved the cottage. I loved mowing the grass, and because I mean, as a 10 or 12-year kid, you get to drive a riding mower around through the field for hours and have fun. It's like, oh, I got nothing to do, but I can mow the field. It was great. I loved it. So, and fishing, I love fishing. Loved.
Yeah, you did, and that's one thing I never figured out. I used to tell people all the time. My brother could sit and fish all day long and never catch a fish and have a great time. Me, I'm like 2 minutes. If I'm not catching a fish, I got to go find something else to do.
But I did catch fish, so that's
no, you did. But I'm just, you did. You did.
So,
I was just using that as an example how you enjoyed doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But the reason I'm saying that is because when I went to Alaska, I did a little bit of fishing in Alaska. I didn't catch a freaking thing. Like I went fishing on the Kenai River, the most popular salmon river in Alaska. I went fishing on that, didn't get a freaking bite. I went fishing on there 3 times, never got a bite. I was on the banks of the Kenai River, and I watched this boat because they had this little boat that they would tow fishermen across from where they parked their car. So I watched this boat. I happened to catch these 2 guys in a boat. Don't know why. Probably the reason why is because what I'm going to tell you. So these guys come off the boat. They walk down. They're right next to me, right? This guy puts the lure on his rod, throws it out there. Fish on! He's like, and everyone's like, what the heck? He does that, catches his limit, hands his pole to his friend. Fish on! I'm like, what? How is this guy catching fish? I've been here for an hour and a half. I haven't caught a freaking thing. He catches his limit, and then I watched him go on the boat back across to the docks, like in less than an hour. I was like, what bait are you using? How the heck are you doing it? You got some sonar guy underneath there telling the fish to grab the lure or something? So,
he's got one of those lures that's guaranteed to catch a fish every time you throw it in. It
Tracks
wiggles
them
and
down.
lights up. I don't know what it does. Yeah.
It runs after the fish and hooks itself
Yeah.
into the mouth of the fish. The fish like, what the heck was that? I'm not even hungry right now, but yeah. So that was my experience on the banks of the Kenai River. I did a boat trip down the Kenai River. Didn't get a nibble. I went to the Seward Inlet. We're fishing. A friend of mine's dad had a boat. We went out into the water fishing for salmon or halibut. Didn't get a bite on that. Come to California, we were fishing several places. The only place I caught a fish in California, so I lived in Riverside for a while, um, Arroyo Grande, 5 cities on the Central Coast, and then back down in South Orange County. And the only place I caught a fish was at Irvine Lake, and we were troll fishing. So I had my line out, and I'm driving the boat. It's like one of those small boats. It goes like maybe 2 or 3 miles an hour, and all of a sudden my pole takes off. Right, I think I hooked the fish on the way by. I think it's because I don't think I caught him because he came after my lure. I think I hooked him on the way by. I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" That's the only fish I caught. I was one time I was out there with Jeffrey where it was like getting nighttime, and I'm up in my truck because my fishing line became a rat's nest, bird's nest, whatever.
Right.
Right. So I'm up there cutting it off, and I see Jeffrey. He's like, "Dad, I got a fish! Dad, I got a fish!" He starts reeling it in, and he literally just turns and runs up the shore to drag the fish out of the water, out of the shore. I'm like, that's one way to land it. And it was a catfish. It was great, So he had a great time. He loved it, and I had a great time. But I never caught a fish except for that one time. But on the Susquehanna River, I catch all kinds of fish. I'd catch bass. I catch shiners, catch carp. I used to spearfish for carp. I used to bow fish for carp. All I had was a little target arrow.
We catch all kinds of minnows and crayfish, and you sell them for bait.
Stonies and crabs and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So
yeah,
I loved it there. I really did. So, and I look it up on the map every now and then. Just recently, I was showing a couple different people where I grew up. Because if you go to the maps and you put in Floyd L. Bell, Floyd Bell and Kirkwood, it'll bring up that, which is right up the street from our house. And
it's based
there across Route 11 to the house.
Yep, right down the river. There it is. My favorite part about living at the cottage was
leaving
2-egg cake.
oh my gosh! Mom's best 2-egg cake.
Mom's best. Gosh. I used to make the 2-egg cake into the big bowl and just eat the batter.
Wow. And
why cook
alive.
it?
You're still alive, right?
Imagine that.
2 raw eggs. There's a 2-egg cake. It had 2 raw eggs, some flour, some sugar, some vanilla, something else. And Rick would make it even if we didn't have all the ingredients. Like, we didn't put that in your day.
As long as we got sugar, that's the main thing.
Oh my God. I remember. But you were running from Mr. O all the time, so you had to get up your energy to be able to stay away from him.
That was it exactly. Yeah, Mr. O would pick me up before school. We'd run 3 miles. He'd drop us off 3 miles from the school, and we'd run to the school, and then we'd run cross country. Then we'd run after school too.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And the funny thing is, I remember you running all that, and when Jessica ran cross country with the girls in high school, it's like their race is only like 1.5 or 2.5 miles, or maybe 3 miles. It's not that long.
Ours was 3.1.
Yeah, so it's probably 3.1. But I'm like, so you're running all these miles all week long, and then when you come to your race, you're running 3.1 miles. I'm like, but I mean, some of these kids, it always impressed me. They would run regardless. They would run as fast and as hard as they can for the 3.1 miles to get the best time. And like we were at Laguna Hills High School, and right behind Laguna Hills High School, one part of the running track, it was this really steep hill. It's all like rocks and dirt. So you had to go up that. So there's a place where you went down on the left-hand side, and you made like a left turn halfway down, so you're not going all the way down the hill. So you kind of zigzag down it. But then you had to go out about maybe 100 yards and make a U-turn, and then come back up and go run up the hill. So it was a crazy hill. So
do you remember Piper Hill went up to Birch Lake, right?
I never went there. I heard you talk about it a lot, but I've never been there.
So you go up a hill, it flattens out, then you go down a hill, and then there's Birch Lake, and you could run around Birch Lake if you wanted to. So what we would do, just run up and back over the hill.
Right.
We would do over and back. It was grueling. it was grueling.
But when it came time to do that during race day, you guys were fit for it.
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
Oh yeah, and everyone was like, "What the hell is this?" Yeah. So it was the same at Laguna Hills High School, I think, for Jesse. I mean, it was always tough, so it was never easy. But it's like when you've done it and you know how to do it, and some of the girls, see, this is the thing. You talk about the difference between men and women's sports, right? So the cross country meet, men and women would all run at the same time. Like they'd start at different times, but they're running on the same track, right?
Right.
So you might have a bunch of girls going by, you might have a bunch of boys going by, whatever, right?
Yeah.
The boys would always run faster than the girls. There's just no way around it, right?
Yeah.
And it's not because they're better; they're built differently, right? They have, usually have longer legs, and you might get a girl or two that has long legs, and she can sort of keep pace with the boys, right? But it's different, and when you see that hill and you see these girls coming up the hill and the guys coming up the hill, I mean, some of the guys, they get like 3/4 of the way up the hill and they're dogging, they're breathing hard. Some of the girls are like, they get to the bottom of the hill, they just start walking up the hill. Not all of them did, but it was interesting to see the difference, because it was a pretty grueling hill. It's probably, I want to say, it might have been at least 100 yards long, but it's basically all uphill. Pretty great, So but yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I just really love the cottage. That's what we're talking about.
So the House just voted to censor Al somebody.
That's the one that was shouting during Trump's speech last night. And the sergeant of arms escorted him out of the building.
Yeah, where is that? Do I have that on here? No, it just came up on X. I don't have X on here, do I? I don't know. Anyways, it just came up. So they voted 211 to 209 to censor. I wonder if it was 211 Republicans against 209 Democrats. Yeah. And did they? So I'm wondering, did they do the same thing when Marjorie Taylor Greene? Did they censor her when she did that? When Biden was speaking and she was shouting something. So it is what it is,
Right. Yeah, and apparently I didn't see it, but apparently on the 5, the female liberal Democrat, what's her name? The one.
Oh, Jessica something.
Jessica, yeah. She was talking about it, and apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene turned her back on him and shook her ass at him or something like that. I'm like, didn't see that. And then Gutfeld's like, yeah, I got that on video. You want to see it? That sounds like Gutfeld, but.
And if she did, she did.
Stupid people on both. Yeah,
he was shaking his cane at him. What's the difference?
Yeah, I was thinking he's threatening him. I'm like, Secret Service is going to take you out in a second, there, young man.
You can't threaten him from that distance. I mean, but you can. Yeah, I mean, you can say you're threatening him, but you really are no threat to him, an old man from that distance. But it's just crazy.
I mean,
but you got to know what you're going to get into. If you know what I say, if you're going to be stupid, you better be tough. So.
There's so many videos on that. I wish I had something up for that right now. And then a song.
Wayne Thayer's watching. Hello, Wayne.
If you're gonna be stupid, you gotta be tough.
Yeah. That's what I say about my ankle injury. I said, well, if you're gonna be stupid, you gotta be tough. I've got to walk it off.
Yeah, but that really wasn't your fault.
No, it wasn't stupid either. It was just he didn't know how to drive, and he took the corner too fast and tipped the golf cart over. But my ankle still isn't right. I mean, it's getting better, but it's not right.
Well, you're
it's been,
man. That's why.
That's it. So that happened New Year's Eve, maybe. I think it was New Year's Eve. How about them Democrats? Well, they are what they are, Wade.
You know what I just thought of? This is going to be something that's going to make your mind tweak. How old was Grandpa when he passed away? Do you remember?
80.
How long ago did Grandpa pass away?
It was a while ago.
He in his 80s?
He was in his 80s.
Wayne, do you remember how old Grandpa was when he passed away?
Or Uncle Jimmy, if you're still on there. I think it was 83, I think. I think he was 83. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So probably when he
87, Wayne says. 87.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How old was he when he left Maine? Do you remember, Wayne? How old was Grandpa?
Oh, he lived down there for like 15 years, I think.
Yeah. So because Wayne was living with him just before Grandpa moved to Florida, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, because I remember we went up to visit him, and you were. I think I still have a picture of you jumping on the bed in that second bedroom in your underwear.
Oh yeah, let's show that one.
Probably look a lot better than you do right now. I'm just saying.
Well, you're probably right. Yeah. Although I have been working out, so you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
I was a sophomore in high school. Wayne says. Oh, okay.
So what year would that have been? That would have been 79.
No, I graduated in 79. Wayne, you're the same age as me, aren't you?
So that would have been 77.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what I was thinking. So if that was 77, how many years ago was that? That was
87, 97, 07,
so
17,
45 years or so, 40-ish years.
48
right?
years.
Right. So,
64. Oh, so you're older than me, Wayne. No, 60.
Wayne's 64.
Oh, so Grandpa was 64 when he left.
And how old are you right now?
Me?
Yeah.
I am 60. How old am I? I'm 63.
Think about that. You're almost
63.
as old. Oh, you're almost as old right now as Grandpa was when we went to visit him and me.
Right. Yeah.
Is that crazy?
That is crazy. Yeah.
It's like, holy crap. Oh, he said 78 when he went to Florida.
When he went to Florida. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, so we got a few more years before that. But still, it's like, I just, we're in our 60s and we're having fun and we're making fun and we're just enjoying life. And, when we were younger and our parents and grandparents were in their 60s, we thought they were like the ancient of days.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, how long do you remember how long ago was it Russ passed away?
It was a while ago. Let's see. It had to be. It was before I met Jen.
Okay.
So I'm talking that was let's see. It's been. It had to be 25 years ago, anyway. Maybe more than that. At least 25.
So Mom would have been 60-ish or so, 58 maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at 58 years old, our mother's running through the rivers of Maine with Russ, fishing and hunting and camping and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing, Mom? And she was just loving life. She had so much fun going up to Uncle Carl's and Uncle Larry's and going to all those family get-togethers and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're basically around that age. We're around the age where we should be out there fishing and hunting and taking our kids and grandkids to go enjoy the skies. Wayne, you never met Russ, Wayne? Because he went up to Maine a couple times.
Russell's mom's
last
third husband and her last husband. Yeah.
Yep.
And he was a lot younger than her, and he was only a couple years older than Kim.
Yeah.
And he died of cancer. Yeah.
Yeah.
In his 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he treated our mother like a queen, man. I mean, there's a lot of things I didn't like about Russ, but I never had a whole lot of complaints because he treated Mom like a queen. And I'm like, you know what? She's happy. He's happy. I'm not gonna mess with that. It's
right.
Like, that when you can finally see your mother be happy in a relationship with a man, it's like, wow, that's really fun to see.
Yeah, Mom had a habit of picking bad people for sure.
Oh my gosh.
She was attracted to bad men for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I won't even go down that road. But yeah, so it was fun to watch that blossom. But thinking back on it, our mother was about our age right now when she's running around. She had that Ford. What was it? It's not an Expedition. Is that what it was? It wasn't a Ford
Expedition.
It was the biggest one that they sold.
Yeah, because I remember
freaking boat they sold.
I remember I said, "Hey, Mom, where's your truck?" That's not a truck. That's an RV.
Oh my god! I never heard her say that, but that's that's a reality. I mean, if you think about it, that is a reality. It's not a truck; it's a freaking monster.
Okay, Mom, where's the RV then? Oh, so and so borrowed it. Blah blah, whatever. Oh my god.
gosh, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing.
I'm going on winter camp out trip with my son this weekend. Speaking of being in the wild, ooh. I bet you that's pretty. Just don't eat the yellow snow, Wayne. That's all my advice I got for you.
Is there a lake? Is there a lake or pond where you're going, and is it frozen over right now? Because I can tell you some stories about that too.
Because I did a winter thing with the Air Force one time, and we were a week out in the winter with tents and stuff like that, and basically you got to make sure you're drinking enough fluid because you're cold. You're not going to drink water. You need to make sure you're drinking water. And our instructor, if he saw yellow snow, he would ask, "Okay, who did this?" And if nobody, no dogs. If nobody owned up to it, he made everybody drink a quart of water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's where I learned. If you're thirsty, if you're thirsty, you need a quart.
Right.
Okay, a glass isn't going to do it. You need a quart of water if you're thirsty. That's how low you are by the time you become thirsty. But yeah, anyway.
I did one of those military winter exercises one time with out of Elmendorf Air Force Base. So if you look on the map, Fairbanks is north of Anchorage, and if you go about a 50 or 100 miles north of Fairbanks, there's nothing. That's where we went camping.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there. It's pitch dark out, right? No, not a cloud in the sky, so you can see every star that you never even imagined.
You were in Fairbanks at that base, right? You said?
No, I was at Elmendorf Air Force.
Oh, you were Elmendorf. You went up to Fairbanks to do the thing. Okay, that's right. Okay.
Do the 2-week military exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was
because I heard just recently that Fairbanks is a lot colder than.
Absolutely,
yeah.
It's
than Anchorage.
Yeah, so we get up there. There's no snow on the ground. It's windy as hell, right? And we're putting up the tents, right? So because I'm an airman and I got to sleep in a tent, we put up our tent and we put it up good, right? So then the officer's tent got put up by some people, and it's like there's wind blowing through it, and nothing's tied down correctly. And they come over and see our tent. They're like, "Who did this tent?" And I'm like, "Follow me." I'm like, what do I get to do now? So the 2 airmen that put this up. So I don't know if you ever had these tents, but they have platform boards which are like probably 4 feet by 8 feet by 10 feet, 10 inches high, right? And you put them together, and then they have these beams that go across 2 of those platforms, right?
Yeah.
And then once you get those all tied together, the beams in there, the cover that goes over them, they have drawstring. So you put a drawstring on each side of the beam, and you pull them tight on both ends, and then the other one you overlap the first one, so you have no gap, right?
Yeah.
So the idiots that put up the tent for the officers apparently had not read their manual or had a brain in their head, because they weren't overlapping and they were putting stuff in the middle. So there's like huge gaps on the beam between the 2 pieces supposed to be overlapping, and either they didn't have a brain in their head, or they did it because they didn't want to do it. They wanted somebody else to do it. So when we got found out, we got to redo it, right?
There you go.
Cold as hell, windy as hell, and then all of a sudden it got cloudy, warmed up a little bit. It dumped like a foot of snow, right?
Yeah.
So we had to plow the runway, so because they're going to bring in C-130s to drop off supplies, right?
Right.
And so we had a fire station set up, the same type of thing with the tent and the arches and the cloth things going over it. We had latrines. We had all this stuff set up, and then we did military exercises. So they said, we got 5 aggressors are going to be coming into the camp from somewhere tonight, and you guys have to prevent them from killing everybody in the camp. And we're like, how hard can it be? You got 5 aggressors, right? Rick, this C-130 flew over the flight line where they could land. They're probably 40 feet off the ground. That thing went over us. Props are moving. There wasn't a single sound out of that except for when the guys jumped out of the back and their chutes popped.
Oh, wow.
I have never seen that before. I was like, that's a plane, because you can kind of see it in the silhouette in the sky.
Right.
you couldn't hear it, you could see it. So then you see these things pop out the back, right? And the chutes are popping, so they light up the runway, and all these, these aggressors are landing. They're got their M50s and their M15s, and they're running for the trees and stuff. But I was shocked. I never saw a C-130 go over and not make a noise.
I wonder if it was because it was an exercise, so they didn't want to be heard. If they were flying high and they basically coasted it,
they could have, yeah.
Yeah. And then as soon as they go by, they hit the engine. As soon as these guys jump off, they hit the engines and go.
Yeah, and I wonder if they may have, because once the guys popped out, everyone's popping on the lights on the runway and they're shooting at them, and you got the infrared mile systems on, and they're running like crazy, and it was a zoom.
Well, Wayne said it's on Gulf Hagues.
Does it have a pond or a lake, Wayne?
It's a gulf.
Oh, so it's not, so it's like the ocean water. It's not like calm water where you'd have frozen country.
And then he says the hiking trail is part of the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, there you go.
That'll be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
So I did winter camp with a youth group one year, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I did a couple years. I had so much fun with the youth group in Alaska. I loved it. I mean,
he says it's a river.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they had like a it wasn't really a lake, but it wasn't a pond. It's too big to be a pond and too small to be a lake, right? So it's frozen over. They plow a path down the middle, so there's like 2-foot berms on each side of the path. That's basically the ice going across the pond. And at the end, you go out through the powdered snow. So I was driving my Chevy Blazer. I got a string of 8 inner tubes tied together that are hooked to my hitch, right?
Yeah.
So you just you go down the path like this, so the tubes are like bouncing off the sides, right?
Right.
And then when you go out in the powder, that chain just goes whipping out into the powder. You see the kids hanging out, boom, boom, boom. Some of them would wipe out. There'd be nothing but snow powder for 20 feet in the air or whatever. So we did this. We had so much fun. And then when you come back, you ease up over the berm, because if you floor it, then they're gonna all be gone again.
Airborne.
Yeah. So in my infinite youth wisdom, I told my friend Jerry Alden, I could ride on that back inner tube and you couldn't get me off of it. I was like, really? Like,
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted, right? So we're going down the lake and he's trying. I'm like bouncing off the 2-foot berms and holding on, and then gets out into the snow thing, right? And he floors it, and I'm like, this is gonna hurt. So I'm like bouncing, and I'm holding it, bouncing. Slows down. I'm like, whoo, that was fun. And he's starting to move. He crosses that berm and floors it down the lake. I hit the berm on the one side. I flew 20 feet in the air across the berm, the cutout road, into the powder on the other side, and was laying on my back when all the guys came up and said, dude, that was awesome. And I couldn't breathe. I'm looking at the sky, trying to catch my breath, and they're all standing over my face. So yeah, I had so much fun with those kids. Though, I mean, we did all kinds of stuff. We played capture the flag in the summertime. So you're running through the woods, and I always wore boots because I had a tendency to sprain my ankles. So I had some boots that went probably about 6 or 8 inches up above my ankle. So I had them strapped tight so I wouldn't twist my ankle. Just running through the woods, trying you're running after kids and trying to capture flags, trying to find flags, trying to protect your own flag. I loved doing camps like that with kids. So I hope you have a great time, Wayne. So I know you're a little older now, but enjoy your youth when you can, and come back sore and tired and you can't walk. Just have fun. So that's what I would do if it was me. Just saying. So.
Well, I'm looking up Gulf Hagues right now. It says it's Gulf Hagas. So is that it, Wayne? Yeah, it's in northeast Piscataquis, Maine. Appalachian National Scene. That's got to be it. But they're all showing summer pictures, though, with a lot of waterfalls and stuff like that. So it looks like a pretty cool place. So, yeah. Cool beans.
That's Greenville, Maine. It shows on mine. Or Piscataquis.
Piscataquis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
so,
yeah.
Anyways.
Hope you have fun, Wayne. Hope you have fun. So,
yeah.
Can't really do fishing in the winter. Well, maybe you can do fishing in the winter.
Maybe you can. If it's a river, it's probably not frozen over. Well, oh no, It could be frozen over. I don't know. You know.
It could be. Yeah. So one of the things about being in Alaska is when the water between Alaska and Russia, it would freeze over. You could actually walk across the ocean or whatever that body of water is from Alaska to Russia if you wanted to, or from Russia to Alaska.
Oh, really? They didn't put an icebreaker through there just to break it down?
Nope. No, it would freeze over. In the winter times, it get really cold. So that part, because the land is so close that it would freeze over. It's not like a whole lot of things go traveling up there.
Right.
Like when you get out to where the guys do the crab fishing.
Do you know the distance between there?
I don't. But that's why when Sarah Palin said we can see Russia from there, everyone laughed. I'm like, it's true. You may not agree with her, but that's the way it is. So.
Yeah. Wayne says he's going to relax. The kids are going to do all the work.
Yeah. So if you look at it, so there's a part right here. See if I can get it on here. There's a part right here. See it, Rick? Rick, see it? There's a part right there where the land comes close together, and that part usually freezes over because it gets so cold there. So
55 miles is all that is.
Yeah.
55
I mean, it'd be a long trek. It'd be a long walk, so don't misunderstand me.
But it's still it's still
walk it.
Yeah.
Yep. So
yeah.
I loved Alaska. I loved it. It was just a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Those are some of the places I've lived and been, and I mean, we live in such an amazing country. We do. We do. We have a lot to be thankful for in this country.
Yeah.
Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, we need to be thankful for the place that we live and the country that we have, the Constitution that we have, the government that we have that prevents us from being dictatorial. Everyone's like, "Oh, Trump's a dictator." He can't be, by the way. And my brother and I have talked about this.
Well,
too.
and this is why I don't. This is why I don't like those presidential, executive orders. That's being a dictator. That's basically saying this is what I want. We're going to do it. Right. And I don't like it.
That reminded me of something because one of his executive orders was no men and women's sports, right?
Right.
And that law came up into Congress and in the Senate. The senators voted every single Democrat voted against it.
And they also filibustered it, so you needed 2/3 vote or 60%.
So that's why it didn't pass.
Right. So it didn't pass.
Every single senator voted against it.
Every single Democratic senator voted against it.
Love the girls. Love the girls.
Yeah, they do.
Whether they have a penis or a vagina, they love the girls, apparently.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But anyway. Anyways, it's probably time to go. So.
Yeah, it probably is. If we had a list, we could do more on it. But so I want to thank God for our country, for the Constitution that we have, for the ability, the freedom that we have to practice our religion. Thank God for our soldiers that protect our country and protect our freedom. Thank God for our Constitution. Thank God for our law enforcement officers and the hard works that they do to keep us safe. And thank God for the firefighters and the first responders and all they do to keep us safe. We honor them and we thank them. We are very thankful for them. You will never hear us say to defund any one of those categories because they are necessary to prevent us from falling into evil. And we greatly appreciate it. And thank you all who came and watch our show tonight, and those that come and watch it later. We thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate you. God bless you, and God bless you.
Wayne says amen, and everything my brother said times 2. God bless you all. We love our military people and our first responders.
Yes.
Y'all do a great job. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
God bless.
Now it's time to go.
Your music's going in and out. I don't know why, but would you like to? Would you like to? Would you like to do a number with me? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.